Well, good evening, everybody. It's good evening for me, anyway. Welcome back to the landscape. Welcome back to the seaside. Now, the weather today has been bright with the sun trying to come through. Although it looks quite grey over there at the minute, there's quite a lot of high-level cloud or medium cloud above me, so it's pretty likely that those bright conditions are going to come back. And in a situation like that, I would tend to lean on my infrared camera because those are the sorts of conditions that infrared would generally suit. Now, I'm not sure I've ever seen, although I'm sure it's been done before, but I've not seen somebody bring an infrared camera to a situation like this. So I decided, right, I'm going to bring my infrared camera out on an afternoon where it is bright, the sun's trying to come through. It's not really a huge amount going on, particularly that would tempt me to come down here and shoot in colour. So I'm going to try it in infrared. Now, I've already had a little bit of a wander around and I've learned a few things already. Those things are that sky, very, very dark, very, very moody. The sand just looks like sand. The rock, relatively black, especially wet rock, just looks like a black lump. Rock that isn't wet just looks like grey rock. Although the rocks around here, they've got a sort of a browny tinge to them, but with the camera in monochrome, they just look grey. However, water appears black-ish, but ordinarily, where you get the glare of the light coming off the water, something that in colour you would try and dial out using a polarizer, looking at it through the infrared camera, it's still there, but it's a lot more muted. It's a lot more, I was going to say, use the word acceptable. It actually adds to the image rather than distracts. Also, all this white foam that you can see going on, that's really, really white. So next door to the water, it really, really stands out. So what I've been trying to do is look for compositions where I've got a contrast between everything else and the water, especially the white foam, and there's an awful lot going on at the moment because I think high tide is in about 15 minutes, so it's quite close to me. There is a breeze coming off the sea, so that'll be driving some of the water. And a bit like how you would do this in colour, where you're using the white foaming water against the sand, the contrast in colour, I'm doing exactly the same kind of thing, but I'm doing it with infrared instead. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the video camera there and then kind of try and talk through what's going on. It's a bit difficult for me to show you the back of this camera, although I will try and do that, but it might just be easier to show it on video and then kind of talk you through the sorts of things that I'm trying to do. So let's do that now. Wow, those waves are really going for it now. I think high tide must be around about now. No, another 15 minutes. So generally that's my view. Now compositionally, I'm quite a bit tighter. For a start, my frame is 4x3. So that lump of rock that you could see on the left, I'm about halfway through that rock And then out on the right, probably got as much of that curving land as you can see, double that, and that's effectively how far out to sea I am. And what I'm actually waiting for, because as I said, there's this lovely contrast between the blackness in the sea, the blackness in the rocks, the green headland that you can see in the distance, that's coming out a pale grey colour because of the infrared effect. The sky, which to you probably looks relatively meh, is actually really dramatic in the way that it's been represented on this camera. And what I'm going to do is just wait for a pleasing line like that. And I actually hit the shutter as I did that. I don't want the water splashing over that great big rock. I think that's, although it's very dramatic, it's actually quite distracting. Having a line along the beach to help to draw the eye into the scene and along the headland, I think is much more effective. And I'm just going to wait actually to see if we get another line as the surf comes in. That's not quite so good. It's a little bit too iggly wiggly. No, not so happy with that one either. That's too much. That's not enough. Oh no, go for it. Oh. So hopefully you can see what it is that I'm trying to do there. Now you see, oh, no. I'm going to go for that. I might see what that looks like when I get home. A little bit of action around the rock. Yeah, I've got it again. Yeah, maybe not, don't know. So what I'm going to do now is going to look the other way. So let me just spin you round. Now I haven't moved my stills camera. I moved the video camera from the left to the right side, which is where you are right now. A similar kind of scene, but with different components. The biggest thing is, oh, I need my glasses, I can't just point randomly into a screen, is this rock here and the shapes that the water makes as it moves around that rock. Compositionally, I'm quite a bit tighter on this side, not so much that side, and I think I've got more sky. Yeah, I have got a lot more sky in actual fact. Let me just raise this one up a little bit. Yeah, I've still got more sky. It doesn't matter, right? Different frame ratios are giving us slightly different results. So I've used the rock here as almost like a baseline, and then you've got the line of the rock going out to the horizon. Then there's a headland, there's a small patch of green, which is of course coming out pale grey, and then you've got all this rolling cloud. Same kind of idea, but what I'd like to have is a line and a bit of motion, and then a line. Now the tide, I think we got another 10 minutes to go, yeah. So high tide is in 10 minutes. That should give me a reasonable opportunity. Oh, here we go. There. As the tide was being drawn down, might get another go. No, not enough action around the rock. I don't think that's going to have enough energy. Ooh, no, close. Keep going, come on. Isn't there a saying that every 7th wave is stronger? Is that true? I don't know. I haven't counted the waves. Oh, here we go, here we go. Right the way round. Nah, I'm not sure. I'm going to do one more for luck. And then I've seen a 3rd composition to play with. That's better. Click. Oh, I could do this all day. It's wonderful. Each one is ever so slightly different, and the patterns are forever changing. Oh, that's the one. That's the one. That's the one. Lovely. Just as it was coming in, you had all this line of the surf taking us out into the distance without the surf hitting these rocks. Now, what I'm now going to do is I'm actually going to move. I'm either going to single out that rock, or I might move to where this little collection is here. What I'd like to do is use sea, rock and sky, because I'm loving the way the sky comes out in infrared. So let's move around and have a play with that. I actually think this is probably the strongest composition out of all of them. What I'm trying to decide is what I want in terms of movement. So on my camera, there's more sky and less on the left and less on the right. Ooh, something like that would have been perfect. I kind of don't want the rock to be completely swamped. I just want it to be partially swamped. Or maybe like that, I'm not sure. I think this is a scene where I'm going to have to do different variations. See, that was quite nice as the water went back round. So if we wait for it to go back round, there, and you get all these lovely shapes made by the foamy water being pulled down the beach. I think one of the reasons why it works is because it's simple. 2 lumps of rock, both similar shape, the sea, the sky. And I hope it's coming out on the video camera that the sky above where we're at, it is quite dramatic and quite shapely. There seems to be quite a lot going on up there. But the image itself is very, very simple. I did wonder about a square and going tight on the stone. I'm going to do that and do that. But going tight on the stone means that when you get those foamy movements that move away from the edges of the rock, you cut them off. And I don't think that helps. Yeah. I think this is a scene to play with several times, But what I am going to try and do is I'm going to try and show you the back of the camera before I then show you an image that works. Right, you're going to have to forgive wobbly cam, but there is my scene, and hopefully you can see the dramatic cloud up above, the slightly wider view than a square, and it's absolutely lovely. It's so simple and so straightforward. I think that's why it works. See, even that just on its own with the water moving around the rock. Hang on, let's just do one more. You see, now the rock is swamped. I don't like that. It doesn't say a huge amount. It's just too much. That's too much. Yeah, that would have been okay. So that was terrific fun. I really enjoyed that. And I mean, this rock that we were photographing for the final composition, I mean, I could photograph it for hours and hours, and I'd probably come away with thousands of images, and each one would be a subtle variation of the next. I think there's a point where you have to say, that's it, you've got the best you're going to get, move on. Otherwise I'm going to be here till it gets dark. But quite a few lessons learned. I think principally that the contrast between the sea and the foam is really important. It's important in colour, but it's really important in infrared. The fact that wet rock looks black, which can be an advantage, but it's something to bear in mind. And that skies can look absolutely awesome. And there's a bit of me that wonders whether, you know, today when the sky looked flat and boring, I wonder whether in infrared it would have looked as flat and as boring. I mean, I won't know now because weather conditions have changed, but hey, it's something to play with next time. So I'm going to leave this video here and go and have a play with something else. In fact, it's starting to get quite chilly. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed it. Hope it's been useful and helpful. Maybe encourage you to go and have a play with such things. If you've liked today's content, please give it a thumbs up. That would be gratefully appreciated. And if you're not already a subscriber and you like this kind of content, landscape photography, seascape, playing with different things, just getting out there, out into the outdoors and playing with photography, then maybe this is the channel for you. If you subscribe, it's free and you can unsubscribe at any time. So until the next time we're out in the landscape or at the seaside, everybody take care, stay safe and look after each other. Bye for now.